The sun was barely rising over the jagged horizon, painting the small western town of dusty trails in streaks of gold and orange. The sound of creaking wheels echoed through the empty street as the stagecoach slowly approached, carrying its unexpected passenger, a young, determined woman named Clara Benson. She had never imagined herself crossing deserts, braving unknown territories, and meeting a man she had only known through letters and promises. But here she was, dressed in her modest blue gown, clutching a letter she had received from her soon-to-be husband weeks ago. The townsfolk peeked from behind windows, curious about the newcomer, whispering about the mail-order bride who had finally arrived. Clara stepped off the stagecoach with a mix of excitement and anxiety, scanning the dusty street for her future. A lone figure emerged from the haze riding a horse at a steady pace. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a long brown coat and a wide-brimmed hat that cast a shadow over his rugged, handsome face. His eyes, however, shone with a mixture of warmth and quiet authority. He dismounted slowly, letting the horse nibble on the sparse grass near the wooden post of the town saloon. Clara's heart skipped a beat as she realized that this must be him, the cowboy. She had been promised, but something in her stomach twisted. He wasn't the picture she had imagined from the letters. Her mind raced, picturing a quiet, kind man who would be gentle and soft-spoken, not this rugged wild figure straight out of the untamed West. You must be Sam Miller," Clara said, her voice trembling slightly as she held up the letter. I'm Clara Benson, your bride." Sam dismounted with a slow smile, his eyes never leaving hers. "Clara Benson, I've been expecting you," he said in a calm, deep voice. He took a small step closer, brushing the dust from his coat. "And I reckon you're just as you said you'd be." Clara frowned. "Just as I said I'd be, but surely there's some mistake. I think you ordered the wrong girl." Her words tumbled out nervously, laden with doubt. "I'm not what you expected." Sam chuckled softly, a low sound that resonated with confidence and warmth. "No, I ordered right," he said simply, tipping his hat back slightly. "Every letter you sent, every word you wrote, that's the woman I wanted, not some perfect picture in a fancy dress. I wanted you. Every flaw, every spark, every ounce of fire. That's who I ordered." Clara's heart raced. Could it be that simple? That this rugged cowboy who had seemed so imposing had wanted her exactly as she was? The wind blew, lifting dust around their feet as if the town itself held its breath. Children peered from behind barrels, curious eyes wide, and a stray dog barked somewhere in the distance. Clara's hand trembled as she looked at the man before her, realizing that perhaps life had led her here for a reason, and not for the reasons she had feared. Sam extended a hand, roughened by work and sun but gentle in its gesture. "Come on, let's get you settled in. There's work to do and the ranch isn't going to run itself. But I promise, Clara, you'll find there's more to this life than letters and expectations. You're exactly right where you're supposed to be." As Clara took his hand, a strange warmth filled her chest, and she allowed herself a small, uncertain smile. The stagecoach driver waved, tipping his hat as he prepared to leave, leaving Clara and Sam alone amidst the dusty street, the town stretching silently around them. She didn't know what the future held, but for the first time, the thought of facing it with him by her side felt exhilarating rather than terrifying. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues of red and gold, Clara unpacked her modest belongings in the small, wooden cabin Sam had prepared for her. He watched from the doorway, leaning casually against the frame, as she arranged her few possessions with care. "You make a house a home, Clara," he said quietly, "and that's all I've ever wanted." Her hands paused over a small trinket she had brought from home, a reminder of her life in the East. She looked up at him, eyes glistening with unspoken emotion. I never thought I'd find someone who would understand me," she whispered. Sam smiled, stepping closer, the fading light casting soft shadows across his weathered face. "You don't have to imagine it, Clara, you're living it." And as the stars began to sparkle above the wide, open plains, Clara realized that this wild, untamed land and the man standing before her were exactly where she was meant to be. The next morning dawned, crisp and clear over the vast expanse of rolling plains and jagged hills surrounding dusty trails. Clara woke to the sounds of horses, neighing and the distant rumble of wagons, heading out to deliver supplies. She stretched, glancing out the window of her cabin at the bustling ranch, and realized that this was no ordinary life. The work was hard, the sun unforgiving, and yet there was a freedom here she had never felt in the city. Sam appeared in the doorway, holding a warm cup of coffee, the scent of roasted beans mingling with the fresh morning air. "Morning, Clara," he said softly. "Ready for your first day on the ranch?" Clara hesitated, gripping the cup with both hands. I think so. I've never done anything like this before." He smiled reassuringly. "That's all right. You'll learn fast, and I'll be right here to show you. You'll be a natural before you know it." Over the next few weeks, Clara immersed herself in the rhythm of ranch life. She learned to feed the horses, mend fences, and even ride out to check the distant boundaries of their property. Sam never left her side, guiding her with patience and quiet encouragement, yet never coddling her. The more she worked, the more she felt a connection to the land and to the man who had brought her here. She discovered his gentle humor, his unwavering loyalty to those he cared for, and a depth of character that went far beyond the rugged exterior. One evening, as the golden sun dipped low, painting the plains with long shadows, Clara found herself standing on a hill overlooking the ranch, her hair catching the light like spun gold. Sam joined her silently, placing a rough hand over hers. "You've done well," he said simply, eyes scanning the horizon. "More than I could have asked for." Clara turned to him, emotions welling up. "Sam, I was so sure you wanted someone else, someone perfect. I never imagined you'd want me." He shook his head slowly, a soft smile touching his lips. "Clara, perfection isn't what matters. It's courage. It's heart. It's fire. And you have all that. You're everything I ordered and more. You've made this place feel alive, like it's finally complete." Her heart swelled, and for the first time since arriving in Dusty Trails, Clara allowed herself to truly believe that she had found a home, and perhaps even love. She leaned into him, feeling the rough strength of his arms, and realized that this wild, unpredictable life held beauty she had never known. But life on the frontier was never without challenges. One morning, a sudden storm struck the plains, whipping dust and rain into a chaotic frenzy. Clara, caught outside tending to the animals, struggled against the wind and mud. Sam raced to her side, pulling her close and guiding her back to the cabin with a fierce determination. "I told you this life would test you," he said, holding her steady. "But it's in these trials we discover who we really are." Together, in the days that followed, Clara found strength she hadn't known existed. She laughed at mistakes, celebrated small victories, and slowly realized that she was no longer the timid, unsure girl who had stepped off that stagecoach weeks ago. She was a partner, an equal, and in her heart, she knew that Sam had seen her, not just for what she was, but for everything she could be. And one evening, as the sky blazed with the fiery colors of sunset, Clara handed Sam a small bouquet of wildflowers she had picked herself. "For you," she said softly. "For everything you've taught me, and everything we'll face together." Sam took the flowers, smiling warmly, and pulled her into a tight embrace. "No, Clara, I didn't order the wrong girl. I got exactly who I wanted." And under the wide open skies of the untamed West, they stood together, knowing that love, trust, and courage had brought them exactly where they were meant to be. The town of Dusty Trails had witnessed the beginning of a story that would endure, and the frontier whispered promises of adventure, heartache, and joy that awaited them in the days to come.